Welcome back to discussion or presentation of a second version of the what I would call a work camera. And the first version was a little bulkier, and this version is more or less the streamlined version of it. We still are using the camera in the middle, which is shown in the middle here. This portion is the camera, and that one is we are still using the NIYPS 1080p. So the quality of the image is pretty good. It's definitely, it's not high definition, but it's got enough details that you can see what you're doing with your fingers and all that. And then if you notice, there are two bright LEDs on both sides of this device, and these bright LEDs are set to be able to shine light in areas where there may be darkness. Maybe you're trying to work inside a hole, relatively speaking, and the light surrounding the ambient light is not reaching it, then you can turn it on. Now these lights are pretty bright, so if somebody's looking directly at you, these may be uncomfortable for them to look at. Right now, when this is positioned all the way back and you're wearing this helmet, which is a rigid, not helmet, headband, which is a rigid headband which is controlled, this thing controls how tight it is on your head, and these holes and this strap, by adjusting them, is how high this would ride on your forehead. So if you put it like this and you're wearing it where the camera is in between the right above the middle of your eyes, it is going to see exactly what you see. Now if you don't want these lights shining to bother the person you're working with, one option potentially is to tilt them slightly down. So let me demonstrate how bright they are, and I'm going to have them look at the camera. So as you can see, there's a little switch on the side here that you can turn on and turn it off. So if I turn it on, as you can see, you can blind this thing. And then if you just slightly tilt it down, well, more than slightly, as long as it's not shining directly in the person's eye, it's bearable. It won't bother the person who you're working with or talking to, and you still are shining. You're getting enough light for the workspace you're working at. So I'm going to turn it off because, of course, the blindens the camera so you can't see anything else. So I'm going to turn that off. The operation of the camera is no different than what it was for the last one, because it's exactly the same camera, so the same instruction applies. If you want to record, there's two buttons in here, as you can see. One button is more oblong and the other one is more circular. And if you press the circular, as you can see, there's an LED right there. And LED is either constant if it's fully charged, or it's blinking if it's charging. And either case, it blinks slowly if it's charging. If you press this, you notice that the LED will blink 3 fast times and then turns off. That is your sign that is recording. And as long as that's off, it's recording. And what's going to do, just like as we talked before, as it's recording, every 10 minutes it generates a file. So if you're so only have the files are broken down to every 10 minutes. If you go back and press this again, the light will come back on, indicating that it's stopped recording. Okay. So the camera, as far as the capacity of the camera is concerned, is once again the same. It's got an SD card in it, micro SD card in it, which has 32 gigabyte, and for most cases it will give you well over 5 hours of recording. The only exception is if you are recording something really fast changing for the 5 hours, but for normal usage it will go well over 5, probably 6 or 7 hours on the 32 gigabyte. As far as the battery is concerned, this device has 240 milliamp hour battery in it. It won't go very far, so you need to get a Backup battery on Amazon or anywhere. You can purchase ones for somewhere between $15 and $25 that have anywhere from 10,000 milliamp hour to about 25,000 milliamp hours, and those definitely would be, of course, considering the fact that the two LEDs, super bright LEDs that are used for the lighting, they consume together around a couple hundred milliamp hour, and the camera has another couple hundred milliamp hour. So total, you're looking at 400 milliamp hour. So at 10,000, you can run a 10,000 milliamp hour of a backup battery. You can run for whatever 10,000 divided by 400 is 25 hours. So plenty of time. Your limitation would be how much storage you have with the 32 gigabyte, which is the limit of what this camera can handle. The other change that was made was how it sits on, and the headband itself. The headband now is rigid, so you don't have it tied over your forehead when you're working. The rigid, you can control how big or how small it is around your head by twisting this knob, making it smaller or bigger. And you can also control how high it sits on your forehead by kind of adjusting this band here, which kind of right now is at the farthest is going to be, or the lowest is going to sit on your forehead, so you can pop these and move them to whatever location works for you. The other big difference that this has compared to the last version is the cabling. So if this sits on your head, this part, then this is the tail that would go to the recharge, the backup battery, which is going to sit in your pocket, and is relatively thin, easy to manage around yourself. And right now, the way this is designed is that the cabling comes through. This is the switch for the LED, and then gets strapped to here, and then you can put this in inside your back jacket and run it all the way down to your pocket, where the pants pocket or jacket pocket or whatever, where this end, which is a regular USB cable, does it. So here is a USB, so I just simply plug it in, and that's how I've been testing it. So that's pretty much it.